DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Got questions up on Facebook this morning. Question of the morning, beer sales at the hockey game totaled 120,000. Better than any Jazz game ever. Why is that? PK, could you anticipate these responses? Did you see these coming?
I have no idea. I'm not a beer drinker. I can't speak to this.
Jared, don't ask why. Let's just accept it. Jonathan, it's the only way to make hockey interesting.
Really?
Ben says it's inflation. Yeah, the beers are $15.
Oh, so what were they?
8,000
$14.50 last year?
I don't know. 8,000 beers sold for 120 grand at $15 a pop.
Who makes all that money, man?
Steve says it's 220-minute intermissions.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Two
Right.
chances to sell as opposed to just the halftime beers of basketball.
I don't understand why they need two 20-minute intermissions.
To make more money.
Well, why not have three?
See? Get those concession stand lines going. Get that team store cranked up. Come on out and buy another T-shirt. Buy another hat.
If that were the case, it's like the mission things. If going on a mission and sitting out for 2 years helped, then Alabama and everybody else would be doing it.
They have more guys sitting out 2 years.
So if this were the case where they do it for more money, then the NBA and NFL, and they'd all be doing it too. And MLS, they'd be doing it too. So I don't know that that's it.
Christopher says the puck went in the net. Where's the ball didn't go in the hoop? Celebratory beers because they were winning. And then we did get a lot of Jim Boylan gifts at that point.
Wham! I thought you drank your sorrows away. I didn't. You celebrated your stuff. I thought that was the expression, but what do I know?
Brian says hockey fans are a different entity. Laughing, crying emoji face sideways.
What entity are they?
A beer drinking entity, clearly.
Oh, is that it?
Jason says it's because the hot dogs, the popcorn, and the nachos were cheap. They needed something to wash it down, so they bought an expensive beer, I guess. After only spending $2 on the hot dog or the popcorn, $2 or $3.
How much is that? When you say expensive, that has to be compared to other places.
Yes, it would all be relative. Maybe compared to what it used to be at this place. Not for NHL games, obviously, but for Jazz games or concerts or whatever.
But that didn't stop them. I don't think the price raising is the reason for $120,000 in beer sales.
More beers.
Yeah, I think that somehow this sport leads itself to more drinking, and I don't know why. That's a fascinating study as to why that should be. I think that's the reason, is that more folks are consuming more beer at a hockey game versus a basketball game, and I wonder why.
Caleb, more non-members watch hockey than basketball, I guess.
Non-members? Non-members of what?
The local predominant religion.
Oh, that's called Mormons. You can say it.
Nope.
You'll be okay.
Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, but they changed their name like 5 times. I mean, what they want to be called? They haven't changed their name. But I mean, I saw that movie, Meet the Mormons.
Rhino, you have to resurface the ice. So there's 2 intermissions. So here we are, 120 grand.
That's it. So I wonder what the beer sales will be tonight in New York.
Will they announce the number?
And then I wonder, too, here, if because they had all the festivities
people were there a lot longer.
Yeah, so whenever the doors open, you had more folks coming in because they were already there because there was so much going on.
The arena was packed at 7, and the game didn't start till 8, and then they had 2 intermissions after that.
Yeah, so I
will
wonder if it's more the
120
pregame.
Yeah. Will 120 be the number going forward? Because I assume people aren't going to arrive an hour early for all the rest of the games. That's an opening night thing.
Yeah, I would say maybe weekend when you got more time and you want to go and you want to go to get something to eat, so you get something to eat inside the arena at the numerous places that they have food available. That's possible, but on a Tuesday night and so forth, I mean, people obviously made their way downtown much earlier than they normally would be because you had a concert, you had all sorts of stuff going on there to celebrate the thing. Newscasts were there, ESPN was there. It was really unlike anything that we've ever seen for a sporting event there, and really for anything as far as that goes. They don't normally have a whole bunch of stuff going on at concerts. Everybody's looking to get in the arena and enjoy the concert. So I think my instincts say that probably inflated the number a little bit that you won't have because of the fact that so many folks were down there. I mean, they started gathering in the mid-afternoon. And so by the time the doors opened, there was thousands of people on the plaza in a situation where you rarely wouldn't have. What time did they open the doors? Is it an hour before? So for a basketball game, everything opens at an hour before? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Going in the media entrance, I don't pay that much attention, but I think it's an hour. It might have been 90 minutes at some point, but I think it's an hour.
Yeah, and just to be in there was something, if you didn't go to a preseason game, that you haven't seen, so you wanted to catch all that action.
And you just had time.
Stuff.
With the later start, you got time to get from work and get there early.
And then they pushed back the start even more.
Because the last game for TV hadn't finished.
Which seems like it's like every time. Every sporting event. If there's a sporting event prior, yours is going to be pushed back.
As soon as I see a Saturday night 8:15 kickoff, I just assume 8:30. I don't think that game is ever going to start on time.
Right, and then you get the little, if you're at home, you get the little notice you can flick over to this station or that station, and then they'll switch back after the end. It's like you have to anticipate that. Who was it? There was a game that one of the locals was playing. It must have been a road game. And my wife said, just turn on this channel, because I'm usually at the stadium for college football, right? And so she knew, because she's never at. So it was time to start, and I'm flicking around. I can't find the thing. So just go over to 208 or 209 or something. And sure enough, there it was. And I was unfamiliar with that situation, but she knew it right away because she's watching all the games from home.
Beer sales at the hockey game total 120,000. That's a higher total than any Jazz game ever. Why is that? I'm curious, is that like 10,000 better than whatever the Jazz record is, or is that double? You know, the Jazz games do 60,000. I didn't see anything on that. Do you know?
Oh, no, I have no idea.
Yeah. If I saw that, if it's 5,000 or 10,000 higher, you can explain it away with the 2 intermissions and the later start and all that. If it's double the Jazz game, then people are just drinking way more beer at hockey than basketball.
I would think that last Jordan game, there'd be a lot of beer drinking because that was on Sunday, and we know members don't go on Sunday.
Yeah, but now you're really getting into the inflation factor. I wonder what beer was back then. It was outrageous, but what would qualify as outrageous back then?
Oh, so do we need to go pound for pound?
Pound for pound, the best point guard and the biggest beer drinkers.
Right. So no, can't you factor in? They always have that. Ball player X back then Mickey Mantle earned $100,000 in 1962, and then they'll tell you how much that money would be
worth in
today's game.
dollars. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how they figure that out, but they do that. So you could probably come out a pound for pound beer sales on that to see how that related to when the arena first opened, and when did it open? 90 or 90?
91.
Yeah. So you can do that. And then you need to go back. Well, then you got to go per pound for pound how much beer sales you had at the Salt Palace on Jazz opening night, their first home game, right? And their first game, in this case, home game and the first game was the same thing. And what was it then? All sorts of stuff. Or how many Californians have moved into the state and just made this state another L.A., and with their beer drinking and their smog and their traffic, come on. All sorts of stuff to be had from this.
Not nearly as many as people think. Not after the fine work that Snag performed over the years.
Sandy neighbors against gangs. I think the geologists and all those people who do these types of studies, they can really have a field day with this. Or is it anthropologists? Something like that.
I think it's anthropologists.
Oh.
Somebody's digging a hole out in Draper.
Well, you have to put the arena in the first place.
Just keep going, stream of consciousness. It'll work. You'll get there. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, so I want more. Don't tell me. I've always said I want behind the numbers, man. I just don't want the raw numbers.
Give me the numbers behind the numbers.
Yeah, what does it mean? What's the meaning behind the numbers? And then there's a great opportunity here to be had. The Watchdog, get on this, man. Quit writing about the Mormon Church. Get on this stuff.
The 2 intermissions has to be a factor. I mean, the late start. The Jazz have had late starts.
Oh, plenty of them.
Plenty of playoff games.
Like every
started
first
at 8
round
or
playoff
8:30.
game.
Yeah, 8 or 8:30. Right?
Yeah.
So 2 intermissions have got to be a big factor.
Yeah. We used to joke when they had those late games, we would do a first right through, and I would do it, and then Steve Loom was covering them, and then he'd do one with quotes. I would do what they call a running story, and that would be for the outer lying areas. So they used to say that my name was big in St. George. Well,
that'll pay off at Black Desert now.
Yeah, we're going back 30 years.
You're the guy who wrote Jazz playoff stories 25 years ago. Come on inside the ropes.
And it had no quotes and no nothing. It just
They just told the story of the game.
Yeah, and you used to send, they wanted like 25 inches, so you'd start writing in the first quarter, and then you just write above it. So I'd send like a 60-inch thing, and then it was much easier for them to just lop it off when it got over there, and so they can meet the first deadline for the outskirts, in this case southern Utah, where I'm broadcasting today in anticipation of heading over for the golf tournament. That's where the paper would go there, and then he would write, and the pressure would be off because he'd have another 45 minutes or something, whatever it is, and he can get the quotes from Sloan and the statues and all that stuff and explain what went on in the game rather than me. The Jazz went on an 8-2 run there with 4 minutes in the first quarter and blah, blah, blah.
Hornacek really heated up in the second.
Yeah, just do all that stuff there, and so we would do that, and that would handle it.
I expect you to be getting free food then. Get all those meals comped. In St. George, you're the man in the outlying areas.
You know what's funny as you bring that up? True story here. Because of the television, I tend to get recognized way more down here than I ever thought possible. I was with my wife and some friends golfing, and I pulled one into the next fairway, and these 2 senior citizen ladies were coming up, and they said, they looked at me and they smiled, "Hey, I know you." And then there's another story real quick. I have a buddy that I knew in California, used to golf with him a lot. And then we move, and he moves down to Huntington Beach. We're separated for like 30 years. And then we used to exchange Christmas cards, blah, blah, blah. Then we get a Christmas card that says, "Oh, by the way," and he retired way early. Like maybe age 60, and he said, "We are in St. George, if you're ever in the area." Well, as you know, DJ, I tend to be in this area a fair amount, and so he's we're doing some project around his house, and he's got to go to the dump, the county landfill, right? And so we drive over there. This is his first experience with PK, and the lady, you check in because I think they got a thing that you can go a certain amount of times as a resident, and then you have to pay above that. So they check your license plate, blah, blah, blah. So she looks in this truck and sees me, and she says, "Hey, you're that guy on television, aren't you?" And my buddy's like, "What?" And then he's playing it up. "Oh, yeah, that's him. That's him right there. Do you want to come out? I'll take your picture with him. Do you want his autograph?" He's playing it up, all sorts of fun. So, yeah. So I'm already big in St. George, but When I get over the golf tournament today, it'll be all about the golf. All those golfers will be far bigger than me.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Well, we saw the Cats once, and we know how that went. We're going to see them again. How's this going to go? We will get to that next. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.